Hello, my name is Jennifer Molesky. This is my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about one of my favorite YouTubers, and maybe one of your favorite YouTubers, named Kevin Samuels, who died. And I want to talk about some different ways to see his death. I got introduced to Kevin Samuels about a year ago, and he has given me hundreds of hours of content to consider. I did not always agree with everything he said. No shit. I hate when people say that. Like, obviously. But he did something really important, and he told the truth. He didn't tell his truth, he told the truth, and he told it to women. And it's really important that someone does that because currently we live in a society that tells women a lot of lies or withholds information. Something like this. Women, you should go get a college education and you are capable of being a strong, independent woman. And this sounds really logical to women because that's what they're attracted to. So they want to, A, fulfill what they're able to fulfill, and B, they want to be a catch. And because they're attracted to men who are independent and well educated, they assume that men want that too. But people are withholding the truth that that's not very important to most men. And Kevin Samuels said that out loud, and wow, did people hate it. Wow, did people hate it. They loved it, and then the people hated it. Different view number one. I'm seeing on Twitter a lot of people who are saying, just because you don't like the guy doesn't mean you should talk shit about him dying. How rude, that's horrible. I see it all the time when someone in the Supreme Court dies or a politician, and people think it's tacky to to be happy about someone dying. I have never thought about bullshit. I thought that once when I was introduced into the notion. I have been in the restaurant industry for a long time. I haven't been for a while, but there was a bartender in town and someone in town died. And when that happened, he goes, "Thank God that motherfucker died. I hated that guy." And I was like, whoa, rude. He's dead. He's like, yeah, but he was mean to everyone. He was a shitty tipper. He had screwed over a lot of people in town. Good riddance. And it got me thinking, why do people, and tell me in the comments why I'm wrong about this, but why do we why do we not mention people's character defects once they're dead? I don't understand that. There was a guy that I knew who was just a dingus. And that's not the right word. He wasn't a dingus. He was a dick. He was rude and mean and super hubris, and he died. And I thought, who cares? And there was a guy that was like, "Hey man, that's not cool." I said he was never nice to me. I never saw him nice to anybody. He was a mean guy. And it seems like we're not supposed to mention that in people's death. Okay, so, but we're not talking about a bad person. We're talking about Kevin Samuels. Okay. This is very high praise. When foolish, arrogant, not fair-minded, spoiled, hateful people are happy that someone is dead, you should rejoice if you love the person who's dead, because that's like a stamp of approval for the noble, moral, high-minded people of society. There's this saying, it's better to be criticized by a wise man than complimented by a fool. So kind of the same shtick here. If you see someone on Twitter who says something bad about him, let it go. These are the kind of people who hated him when he was alive, and they're going to be happy that he's dead. It is the way it is. So who do you want to be cheering when you die? Which gets me into something else I want to talk about. All hail Kevin Samuels. He impacted many people's lives. He positively impacted many people's lives. I don't think he negatively impacted. I think he riled some people up and he made some people angry, but I don't think he filtrated their life and changed it for the worse. I don't think he changed people's lives for the worse. The changes he did make in people's lives were for the better. People complain about his approach, which reminds me of a conversation that I got into years ago with a female friend. I am very pro-feminine and very anti-feminist, but I am very masculine. And I don't say things very kindly. And a female friend of mine who's very feminine and sweet was criticizing me, and she said, "Jennifer, what you don't understand is you're going to reach more flies with honey than vinegar." And she was calling me vinegar, and I said, and this is what I believe still, there are so many people who sugarcoat things that for the few people who don't appreciate that and find it condescending and not lowbrow, but too bullshit, those are the people who I appreciate personally impacting. It's people who don't fall for the sugarcoating. And I believe that's what Kevin Samuels was. He was a lemon head, right? Those candies that you suck on and they're tart. He wasn't coated in sugar. So he reached a whole group of people who were not reached before. He told the truth. He didn't say it in a very nice way. So the gift that he gave to millions of people was the gift of truth, which did positively impact people. The truth does impact for the good. Like I said, it doesn't impact for the bad. The worst it would do is rattle people, but it won't penetrate the soul and do bad. So the gift that he gave was his word. And the other gift he gave is his death. So I don't know about you. If you're American, if you're average, you probably are more similar to me. Maybe not. My viewers are a little more family oriented and community oriented because that's what I talk about. But I don't have a big family at all. And I don't have a lot of friends at all. So death very rarely approaches my life. There was a woman that I worked with who was a recovering alcoholic, and she was in rehab. So she knows a lot of people from rehab, and she's been in the drug business for a long time. So every 2 months or 3 months, she'd walk into work sad because one of her good friends died. Super foreign to me. So it is a gift, albeit a sad gift, to have someone close to me die because it reminds me we're going to die. And every day we know that. And Kevin Samuels talked about it. Buy a dog and die alone. He said the words, but the impact isn't nearly as strong as when you're like, oh, that guy's dead. It's coming for me too. How do I want to live? I want everyone to do deathbed meditations. That's simply where you act like you're going to die. You don't act like it. Don't act like you're going to die. You go into a meditation thinking about those last minutes. And if you can get deep enough into it, you will be startled that you will want to claw your way out of death and back into life. But in that clawing and in that gift of having you actually not being dead and have it be just a meditation, you will realize what is important to you. And the death of a friend or a loved one or a YouTuber, because it impacts me because I really like the guy. I didn't know him. He was not my friend. But I spent time with him like we're spending time right now. And repetition of face, familiarity, that happens. So his gift is that he reminded all of us that we're going to die. How do you want to die? And this is an opinion that I have about Kevin Samuels. I don't think he died too young. I think he died too young for you and for me, but not for him. Seneca, you can go to YouTube and the audiobook is like 1 hour and it's free. Seneca, who's a Stoic, a philosopher, who was around this, it doesn't matter. Okay. He talked about Stoicism. And anyway, I digress. But he wrote a book called On the Shortness of Life, which is basically life is really, really, really short. It's practically non-existent if you don't spend it, if you don't live it right. But if you live your life to the highest self-standards and integrity, your life is perfect. The length is perfect. Okay, so hold that thought. Put that little old-fashioned DVD in your head. Okay, got it there. And Kevin Samuels talked about going to church and how he was involved in church and he was a leader of a group for women. I can't remember what it was discussing, but he said he had no resources and he was ordered to refrain from speaking pretty much about the truth because they didn't want him scaring away women from the church because the church needed people. And watch out, if you tell the truth, it can jolt people like we were talking about before, right? So he was like, what the heck? This is not doing anything. It's not doing anything good for me. It's not doing anything good for them. Here's what I think. This is just an opinion. I think that he had a very long and very real conversation with God about what he could do, how he could minister. And I think what God told him to do was exactly what he did. He could have been a pastor and he could have stayed as a group leader in church, but he didn't. He didn't do the brick and mortar church. He ministered in a totally different way. And I'm so proud of that. I don't. Oh, this is stupid. Just fast forward. Because I can't cut this out because my computer's broke. Something is always wrong with my equipment, I swear to you. So I don't know if God is real, but I think he is, and and if I had to guess, I would say that he did good by him. You know, so what's bad about that? That's something to be celebrated. Today is a good day. Define good. Yeah, good point. I think today is a notable day for me and maybe for you. So if we can learn and if we can just appreciate and let people say bad things. You know, it's kind of like the same thing of like, I think racism should be illegal. Yeah, okay, good fucking job. How dumb. The only way you can combat that is through personal relationships and loving. So I think it's the same thing. Like, let people, you can't shut people down for having a strong emotional reaction. But what you can do is, put yourself where they're at and appreciate that if they're really a big, fat, stupid, monkey, jerk face, butt head, then it's pretty good that they're happy about a death. So that's it. That's it. That's just what I wanted to say about that. What do you think? What do you think? How am I wrong? Sometimes I'm wrong. Okay, have a good day. Bye.